Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 13 of the Halloween Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing a Cricut paper craft project with you that's Halloween themed every day for 20 days. Today's project is this adorable Halloween horse. I love all of the layers and patterns in this, and it looks really lovely when cut out with glitter card with a little bit of mirror card for the gold. The SVG for this design is free for the next 24 hours. If you haven't already registered for the Halloween Craft Countdown, go to craftwithsarah.com/HCC to get your free ticket. If you have already registered, here's how to download your free Halloween Horse SVG. If you've already registered your free ticket, check for an email from me with subject line Halloween Craft Countdown ticket information, or any of the other emails from me that you have been sent throughout the countdown. Can't find them? Check your junk or spam box to see if they've gone there by mistake. These emails contain the link to view the countdown projects and download today's files. Scroll down this page to find today's project. Click the button to start the files automatically downloading to your computer or mobile device. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/HCC bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files and projects from the Halloween Craft Countdown. All downloads come in zip folders. You will need to unzip them before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, it's time to get the SVG file into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and start a new project, and then press Upload over on the left, and then Upload Image. You can then either click Browse to find the file on your computer, or drag and drop it in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of the folder, and within there, go into Cut Files. Then the file to use for Cricut Design Space is the one which starts SVG in the file name. The other ones won't work right in Design Space, so make sure you choose that one that starts SVG. Drag it in, and then it should appear like this with all of the layers one on top of the other. If yours looks different and your layers are all next to each other instead, that means you've accidentally uploaded the wrong file. So if that's the case, press cancel down on the bottom and then try again and make sure you choose the one which starts SVG. Press upload and then it will appear in your recent uploads. So you can click on it and press add to canvas. It will automatically separate out all of the layers which you can see down the right hand side. When I'm making this, I like to use an extra bit of sparkle. So this yellow colour in the hat and the hooves and the pumpkin, I tend to cut from a gold mirror stock, gold mirror card. And then the grey for the spider web is really, really pretty when it's cut from silver glitter card. But of course, if you don't have that, then just cut it from regular cardstock and it will still look beautiful. To resize the design, click on it. Make sure your padlock icon is closed. If it is open, then click on it to close it. Then when you enter your width or your height, for example 7 inches in width, and press enter on the keyboard, the height changes automatically, so everything stays looking exactly as it should. And that's all there is to it. This is now ready to cut. I'll press Make It over on the top right, and this will separate everything into the individual colours. You can change the paper size in here, and then you can move things about to use less space on your cardstock. And one thing you can also do is change your amount of card it's using. So when I changed this to A4, it put this bit of the head onto a third sheet of card, but I reckon there's loads of space to fit it on there. So I'm going to press the 3 little dots and move object. Make sure you choose the same color of cardstock. I'll go for this first one and press confirm. And you see that fits on there perfectly. So I do not need to use 3 sheets of card of this very light grey. I only actually need 2. And I'll still have all of this space here that I can use for another project another time. So go ahead, make all of your paper size changes and move things about. Make sure you don't overlap anything, for example, something like that, otherwise it won't cut properly. When you're happy with how it's all looking, press continue to connect to your Cricut machine, get everything cut out from cardstock, and then we'll see how to stick together our Halloween horse. Here are all the layers of my Halloween horse cut out, and I've just laid them on top of each other to check that I'm happy with the colours and to make sure I've not missed anything. I decided to cut the yellow layers from some brushed gold cardstock. You can't really tell when it's all the way done here, but when I get to sticking those layers, I'll show you in the camera a bit better. And then the spiderweb layers I've done from glitter card, and it stands out beautifully against the pale grey of the rest of the horse body. And I really love how that is. It's super spooky. And again, I'll show you in the camera when I pick those up. We're going to be sticking this together with a combination of glue and 3D foam squares. The glue I like to use is called Collall. It's really great because it doesn't bend or wrinkle the cardstock like some other glues can do. And I get this on Amazon in the UK. If you're in the USA, then other amazing glue alternatives are Barely Art Glue and Art Glitter Glue. And then I put my glue into these needle tip applicator bottles. These have really tiny nibs on them, which means I'm going to be able to get my glue into these tiny pieces and around all of these spiderweb details really, really easily. As with all layered designs, we want to start at the bottom and work our way up. So we need to move this about whilst trying to keep similar layers together. So let's pick up this tail carefully. Slide that over to one side. And then the same with the pumpkin. And then all of that head section. And then the top, these layers of the body. All right. This hoof I'm just going to put there so it's still in shot so I don't forget it. And then we're left with these two. So the solid body layer, which is the whole size of the design, and then my glitter card. So if I hold that up and put it in the light, you can see all of that shimmer, shimmer, shimmer. It's really pretty. And with the spiderweb detail, I think it just really adds to it. So we're going to start with gluing. So let's turn that upside down and add the glue. Okay. And because this is one of the very bottom layers, you need quite a bit of glue to make sure it's sturdy and it stays stuck to that base with all of the weight of the other layers on top that we're going to be putting on. And also this particular glitter card I've used is really, really thick. I had to cut it on the craft board setting on my Cricut Maker, which does a double cut, so it cuts all the lines twice, and it puts loads of pressure on, so this is really thick. So a bit of extra glue will probably do it wonders. And then let's line this up and give it a little push down. And then just wiggle it about whilst that glue is still wet so that it's perfectly aligned on all of the sides. Next, we have the hoof for this back leg, and this will be glued too. I'm just going to check it's round the right way. These little pieces for the hooves are a bit tricky. Just make sure you've got the right hoof on the right leg, otherwise they won't line up properly. And also make sure you're sticking it the right way up. And you can refer to the assembly guide included in the download folder for information on that. There we go. And then next we've got the other solid layer of the body. And this will be stuck on with 3D foam pads to give it some dimension. So here are my 3D foam squares I'm using. These are quite big, so I'm going to cut them in half so I don't need to use as many. And it doesn't matter what size or type or brand of foam squares you use. There are loads of different ones and they all work pretty much the same. Some you might find that it's harder to peel the backs off than others, but generally if you just play about with a couple of different brands, you'll find one that you personally like. The ones I'm using are called Dot & Dab. I get them on Amazon in the UK. And I like them because the tops peel off really easily. Some ones I've tried, I'm just there for ages, picking, trying to get it off, and I get really frustrated, but these ones work really well. They're nice and easy. So when you're adding these foam pads, you want to make sure that you put them in all of the kind of sticky out bits. So the tail, the hat, the pumpkin, the nose, etc. But as well as doing that, you will want to put some in the middle of the unicorn's body too. And that's to give it some stability in this big open space. If you didn't put any foam squares in here, this bit of cardstock wouldn't have anything to hold it upright, so it will start to sort of bend or dome downwards under the weight of itself and the other layers we're going to put on top. And, you know, if that's what you want, that's fine, but it just doesn't look as good. So for the sake of a couple of extra bits of foam, I highly recommend putting some in the middle of your pieces of cardstock, especially big ones like this. It really does make a difference. I'm now peeling the tops off of my foam pads to reveal all of the stickiness underneath. Let's get that one here. And then I'm going to line this up and then gently drop it down. Let it fall into place naturally. And the reason I'm doing that is that if it wasn't quite lined up, because I haven't stuck it yet, I could pick it up and move it without damaging anything. But I am happy with that. So let's push down hard to get all of those foam bits stuck. The next layer is the main spider web. Look at those sparkles. I love this card. If you're in the UK, this is Sizzix cardstock and I bought it from The Works. I believe it's also available on Amazon. It came in a pack with I think 5 or 6 different types of silver. And so one of them was this glitter. And then there was like a metallic shiny silver, a brushed silver, kind of a matte silver, and a couple of others I can't remember. It's all super thick card, so you do need to be careful that your Cricut will cut through it. But I found the craft board setting worked perfect. And that was on a light grip mat, so the light blue mats. These needle tip bottles are amazing for getting in all these details. I mentioned it earlier, but now you can see that even though I'm distracted by talking, I can just fit in all of these teeny tiny gaps so easily. And then we can stick this on top. Oh, it's just such a nice glitter card. They also do matching packs in gold and also rose gold. So I did pick up one of each because when I looked, which was about a month ago now, they were half price and I cannot pass up half price cardstock. Next, I'm going to add the hooves to the front. And I'll just put my glue directly on there. And stick these on. So this gold, you won't be able to see probably. It's too small. I'll show you on the larger bits in a little while. But this is from the matching gold pack. So this is Sizzix card as well. I think this was the brushed gold. So it's a little bit shiny, but not too reflective. Next, what shall we do? I think the tail. Okay, going to move the bow, and the little green bits here are going to be glued on. So first, we're going to use our 3D foam pads to stick this bit on. I think the purple and the lime green together really scream Halloween. I love it. It's such a cool combination, and one you don't really get to see when it's not Halloween. So it's nice to use it whilst I can. What's your favourite Halloween colour combination? Let me know in the comments. Right. To stick that on there. And then glue the green bits on. Start with this one because it's the easiest to line up, as we can line it up along that bow. There we go. So lines up with the little swirls on the edge and also where the bow is. There we go. The other two are a little bit trickier because there's no real guidelines. So I'm going to place them first, just so I don't put them in the wrong places. And that looks about right to me. It doesn't matter if you're not 100% spot on with the placement of these. Just try and make sure that none of them touch, because that won't look quite as good as having them separate. Here's this one. In there. Okay. Next we've got the bow, which comes in two parts, and for the bottom part, which is the black, I'm going to use my foam. Might need to cut it a little bit smaller. When adding your foam, make sure that it doesn't poke over any of the edges, otherwise you'll see it when you turn it over. So I'm going to cut my foam with just an ordinary pair of scissors to get a super tiny piece to go there. Okay. And that will line up on the green. And then the orange on top will be glued. Perfect. Next we'll move on to the head. And this is quite a lot of layers. So move the hat away for a bit and also the face. And then we're left with the mane. And what I'm going to do first is glue these green bits into place. Just while I know they are where they're supposed to go. 1. Need to refill my glue bottle. 2. And 3. I'll need to wait for that to dry now. So let's move back over to the head of the unicorn, as this comes in a few layers which will be glued. So we can do the gluing first before we stick it onto the actual design. And we've got our silver for the base, which is going to show the nose and the eyebrow and the mouth. And then we've got the black one here and a little white circle. So turn your black layer over, and then with your glue, draw a tiny circle in glue around the eye hole, and then stick that circle of white over it. And that's going to just make the white of the eye without having to cut the whole thing out of white. And then I will glue the whole of this, including some on that white bit. And then this is going to go on the silver. You don't have to do it this way. You could use your foam squares following the assembly guide, which will be different to what I'm doing in this video. So you could do the foam first and then just glue it all on when it's already on here. But I am killing time whilst my mane dries. And then next we have the face, which will be another glue layer. That fits on top, and that will show the black of the eye through. Just make sure you get it perfectly lined up on those edges. So that's all the detail that you get from doing it in those layers, which looks really nice and much easier than trying to stick the eye on top by having it as little cutouts. Right, let's bring our mane back in. The main event. Turn it upside down and add our foam squares. Again, we're going to line this up and gently drop it down. And then push down when you're happy. My bits of card are coming apart on the head. Let's just push it. I think it's because it's the glitter card. Right. So we've got the head next, and this will be a foam layer. So this is, remember, this is what is going on to the back of the silver piece. There we are. And then we have the hat, which comes in 3 layers. Got the gold, and actually you'll be able to see my little shiny gold better on that piece. And then the black, and then the little bit of mane. The gold one we will foam. And if you like this Halloween horse design, I do actually have 2, well, technically 3 matching designs, which are all free to download. So I've got a normal regular horse just on its own with a flower pattern instead of the cobwebs. There is a unicorn version where it has a little horn, and that's done in nice pinks and purples. And then there's a Christmas version with snowflakes in the middle. And those are all available on craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs. So if you want to make a little set, that would be awesome, and I would love to see pictures. I forgot to say, but you just saw me do it. This one's a glue layer, and the little bit of mane on the front is a glue layer too. I've bent this bit of card a little bit. Hopefully it won't show up. Move that. There. Now all we've got left is the pumpkin and the little poison bottle. Do the pumpkin layers first. And this is 3 parts. So we've got another gold, then the black, and then the orange. The gold will be done with foam squares. Pop this into place, and it will overlap that front hoof a little bit, which is what it's supposed to do. There we are. Then the next layer is the black part of the pumpkin, which will be a glue layer. And this is just adding some extra detail to it, a little bit of artistic touch. There. You get that gold peeking through to make the pumpkin look like it's all lit up. And then finally we've got this one, the orange pumpkin, which is another glue. Ooh, got a little string of glue in the middle there. Let's pull that away. It's because I have not been putting the lid on my glue in between using it, so it's drying out a bit. Okay, so the black is just a really teeny tiny bit, but it gives some really nice shadowing and depth to that pumpkin. Last but not least, we have the poison bottle, and be really careful with the eyes of the skull as they are teeny tiny. But for the white bottle, I will add foam. I'm very much running out of foam squares here. I've got more in my main office, not my filming room, which is sort of tagged on the back. But I'm hoping I can get through, which actually should be fine because this is the last bit that I need them for. There, and then glue for the purple. Here we go. Slide that on top. And for the eyes, I'm going to add the glue directly into the middle of the skull. I just think that's going to be way easier. 2 little dots. And then... perfect. And there we have our shimmery, shiny spiderweb witch horse. All ready to be framed or to go on the wall or to be displayed as it is, or however else you choose to use her for Halloween. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make this adorable Halloween horse. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut and papercraft tutorials. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you tomorrow for day 14 of the Halloween Craft Countdown. Bye!